Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. All right, we're working out good. Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Leave that donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. Understand this. I've been doing a lot of videos about Terence Crawford, what he brings to the table, and how I think he can beat Canelo. But at the same time, Hood Champion ain't biased. We got to keep things in perspective here when we're talking boxing. Now, this is my last video for the day. I'm about to go chill with my little man and my other three sons upstairs bullshitting. But Terence Crawford has really seemed to have gotten underneath the skin of Canelo Alvarez. And I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, that may not be good that he's truly gotten underneath the skin because, you know, if you go poke the bear and you don't wake the bear, well, no harm, no foul. But if you poke the bear and you wake him up, assholes and elbows is all going to be coming from you because you're going to be running away. And that's all the bear is going to see is your elbows and your asshole because you go in the opposite direction. Now understand this. This whole thing about Crawford getting underneath Canelo's skin, poking the bear, to me it introduces a very interesting psychological dynamic. And I think it could play to both men's performance, but I think it kind of favors Canelo now. There are advantages and disadvantages here. And if we're talking about Canelo and Crawford, look, but Canelo, man, he knows he can't lose this fight. He can't lose. He has to win. His back is in the corner. Turk El-Sheikh is pro-Bud. So with that increased motivation now, Canelo, he's got that pride. You know he's got pride, but he also has discipline. He feels disrespected. And those little smirks from Crawford, you could tell that Canelo feels provoked. At that face-off, Canelo was upset. You could see it in his face. That wasn't a friendly face-off. No, Canelo looked like he wanted to punch Crawford in the mouth. And I'm like, oh shit. Crawford woke up the redhead Guadalajara, Jalisco native. This shit ain't gonna be good for Crawford. Now, I think Canelo already pushes hard in training camp. I've got my own concerns about old Eddie Reynoso, because Eddie Reynoso, man, has 6 people from the goddamn camp pop for some shit. But for Canelo, hey, clean as a whistle as far as I'm concerned. But I know for a fact he's going to train harder than ever. Because he's not going to sit here, man, and enter the ring just thinking, I don't have a point to prove. No, he's entering that ring right now. Everybody's saying my feet are in cement. They're saying I'm flat-footed. They're saying I don't have it. They're saying that I'm wearing silk Dolce & Gabbana pajamas. They're saying that I am ripe for the pickings for Terence Crawford. So Canelo ain't coming in there to play. He's there to prove a point to let everyone know I am still Canelo. And they're weight classes for a reason. And he's looking, I'm telling you, to intelligently knock Terence Crawford out cold. You watch this game plan that I think they're going to try to put together. Eddie Reynoso knows Canelo is emotional. It's like I said, he's temperamental. But an emotionally charged Canelo is a dangerous Canelo. And I think the game plan is going to be for Canelo to be aggressive. I think they're going to say, look, on this fight, you may have to rely on your chin more than the other fights because Crawford's going to try to box and move and he's going to try to use your aggressiveness against you. But I truly believe you're going to see Canelo, who's going to come out, man, at a fast pace, and he's going to press Crawford more than usual, especially in an 18 by 18 foot ring, and especially if he feels Crawford is really challenging him. And if Crawford touches him a few times. When Canelo gets hit, he will stop, he will freeze, he will lock up. But in the first 4 rounds, you hit him, he's like, all right, and that just propels him forward, motivates him even more. And that could be all bad for Terence Crawford. And be looking for Canelo in the first 4 rounds. If he feels Crawford is landing on him, watch them body shots. Watch them body shots and the power punching. That could overwhelm Terence Crawford early in the fight. Because Canelo's going to be very smart with the shots, his shot selection, and also when he's throwing his punches. You know, you can watch a fighter's footwork. You can watch everything, man, and know when to throw to where they can't defend. You know, and Canelo is just a guy who downloads data. So does Crawford. But Canelo does too. So understand Canelo with that aggressive game plan and already knowing as far as the size, the power. And I think with this newfound focus, since he has something to prove now, and he knows it, he knows his back is up against the corner, man. They got him pinned to the damn wall. It's crazy. You watch Canelo, man, with them emotions flaring. You watch him, man, be more inclined to really reach into his bag, along with his natural advantages, man, size, strength. And you're going to see all that experience that he's had in them different weight classes. He's going to be pulling all that shit out. You watch. And I just think when he does that, I just think physically, you know, Crawford could get worn down. Because even Crawford may say, okay, we know Canelo is a bad boy, but shit, we didn't know he still could do this. I'm telling you, I know Canelo just does the minimum to win fights because he's become so good, he doesn't need to put the full arsenal on display. But in this fight, I think he will. And I just think this creates a big-time disadvantage for Terence Crawford, man. You know, you come out here arousing the beast. Look, if I'm sleeping, leave me alone. Even my wife, when we first started dating, you know, I used to be, anyway, it doesn't matter about me. Just know, if I'm sleeping, don't wake me up. My kids are different. They can wake me up. But Canelo channels his anger into focus. And this is why I think when Crawford, he's aroused the beast, and it could just be all bad. And with Canelo challenging that anger into focus, he's not a guy going to get angry and be reckless. He's going to say, okay, he's going to zero in even more. And he's coming to knock you out, but it's not going to be recklessness, man. And Crawford could end up facing a more sharper, a more explosive, that coffee boy, version of Canelo than he expected, and I think most of us boxing fans are expecting. And you could see where the fight all of a sudden becomes less tactical because a more aggressive Canelo, it may cause Crawford, man, to not be able to dictate the pace of the fight, to not be able to establish his range because Crawford's going to have to move. An 18-by-18 ring, and Canelo saying, you know what, I'm going to really up it as far as my pressure from the first second of the first round. Crawford ain't going to be able to control nothing and establish nothing because Canelo's going to be on his ass and Crawford's going to have to move. Crawford can say what he wants. He ain't going to stand there and go like Manny Pacquiao, toe-to-toe. He ain't going toe-to-toe. Like, that's not happening. But boy, oh boy, it's going to be interesting because Terence Crawford likes to, at some point, take control of a fight. Terence Crawford likes to be able to make adjustments. And I just think if Canelo can really implement that aggressive strategy and that pressure, I think you're going to see Terence Crawford struggling to fight an emotionally locked-in opponent like Canelo. We got to be fair here. Same way I do my analysis saying what Crawford can do and how he can win. The Canelo fans get mad. Then I come back 2 hours later and do a video about how Canelo can win. And the Bud fans get mad. They be like, man, pick a side, man. Get out of here, McNicholas. I ain't picking shit. We just talking boxing, right? But you could see Crawford, man, having aroused the beast. You could see him being in a less tactical fight because Canelo won't allow it. And I think what a lot of us are going to recognize is, for those who don't know, is Canelo can stay composed under pressure. Canelo can be behind in the fight. He can stay composed. Of course, with Bivol, things didn't go his way, but he was still staying, pretty composed. You could see he kind of mentally checked out at some points, but, You watch again, fighting a guy he knew was smaller that, for the most part, he could hurt. Amir Khan was putting the beans on him. Canelo stayed calm, controlled aggression. Laser focus, and what happened? So I just think for Crawford, he and his team need to understand that Canelo's fought elite trash talkers before. You know what I'm saying? He's fought guys who are going to try to play those psychological games with him. He's been there, done that. And Caleb Plant was one who really tried to pour it on thick, but it didn't work out very well for Caleb Plant. And you just saw that when it mattered, Canelo was the one who stayed calm. And Canelo was the one who got the victory. And I think if he does the same thing here, Crawford could find, I think, what ends up being like a mental edge for Crawford. I think Crawford can find that being nullified. And if that happens, it could be bad. But, hey, there's always a flip coin to everything, man. Because if Canelo doesn't do those things I just mentioned, and he allows that anger to override his discipline. Remember, discipline, Mike Tyson defined it perfectly. Doing the things you don't want to do like you love it. But if Canelo lets his anger override that discipline, man, I'm telling you right now, shit can backfire. Because Bud is a master counterpuncher, and if Canelo's making mistakes, Bud's going to make him pay. So ultimately, when a guy like Canelo, man, you provoke him, he may use that provocation as fuel. And you got a Canelo in there that's fueled. Good things happen for him, bad things for his opponents. And I think it becomes a weapon for Canelo. So for me, it's going to be very interesting because I think it boils down to like discipline and the emotion involved, but who can be controlled and then who's going to end up becoming reckless. First person makes a mistake, they're going to pay. And I'm just wondering if Canelo could put that pressure on Crawford. Crawford could end up running into one of them Canelo traps. Because, it ain't even the fact that Canelo throws hard shit. It's getting hit with the shit you don't see. And Canelo's very deceptive at having you think he's going low and go high, or go high and go low, or going wide and go straight and go wide. So for those saying, nah, he'll never catch Crawford with that, when you, listen to me. I never boxed pro. But if you've sparred, I would say 15, 20 times, I think you're qualified to really talk about when you're in the ring and all this plan that you have and somebody putting pressure on your ass. You can't think and process information the way you could when you're calm and able to control the pace of the fight. You can't, because shit's coming at you so quick. And you could see where a guy like Canelo, Crawford, could fall into a trap and could get clipped. So in my opinion, the margin for error is like, razor thin when you get these two elite minds coming together. This shit is really IQ for IQ. But let me drink some more coffee, man. But to knock a guy like Terence Crawford out, though, man, look, nobody's done it. Could Canelo be the first one to do it? You know what? Maybe. You know what I'm saying? But I just think Canelo, for him to do it, it's got to be high discipline. He's got to be very physical and a tactically smart game plan. And I'm watching Reynoso, and I don't know if they've watched 2 years of footage on Canelo like Crawford's watched on Canelo. But I'll tell you what, Terence Crawford, his confidence is sky high. There's something Crawford knows that we don't know, and he's looking to show us when he gets in that ring with Canelo. But I'll tell you this, Crawford's got the skills to back it up. So to me, with Canelo, he's just got to stick to the fundamentals of what a pressure fighter / brawler / boxer puncher will do. Cutting that ring off early and often. You know what I mean? Crawford, if you let him move, you're going to have problems because he's a master of movement. The distance and switch hitting that Crawford does, he's one of the best to do it. Canelo can't let him get in his comfort zone. It's going to be all bad. So he's going to have to cut the ring off and force Terence Crawford into exchanges or force him to move to where he can't really set his feet. And Canelo can't afford to be following Crawford around the ring, chasing him. He's going to have to corner him. If he's chasing Crawford around the ring, it's like they always say, you don't chase a puncher. Now, for anyone out there saying Crawford can't hit, Crawford can hit. And You can get a 135-pound guy to clip a 200-pound guy if he's got some power and he hits him with some shit that he doesn't see. So Crawford could definitely do that, but that's where Canelo can't make the mistake and chase him around the ring. He's got to corner him and then go to work. And Canelo's very good at doing that. The other thing is that sharp lateral movement, man, that Canelo does, man. And them body feints, that shit is going to trap Bud. He get Bud reaching and blocking and flinching. Then, it's going to create openings. And Canelo is going to just watch that, see the patterns. And if Crawford doesn't do anything, Canelo is going to let them hands go. Bud can't get on them ropes. And I'm telling you, them feints, and if Canelo just touches him a few times, you could see Bud on them ropes. And that shit going to be all bad. You know what I'm saying? He can't get on the ropes fighting a guy like Canelo because he's vulnerable. The same way in the middle of the ring, Canelo is vulnerable to Terence Crawford's sharpness, his boxing IQ. It's the same thing as Crawford being on the ropes, but then he's vulnerable to Canelo's power. That shit is going to be horrible. And if he gets on the ropes, then you got the body attack that's going to be relentless coming from Canelo. And he will slow Crawford down and take his legs. This shit ain't rocket science. And Canelo knows what he has to do. But I'm just saying, all of this could be stuff that Canelo already knows. So now that Canelo's pissed off because Crawford done poked the bear, where Crawford is going to be telling himself, I never fought anybody with a punching power like this. It's one thing about Mayweather. Same way we're going to look at Crawford and say, look what Mayweather did to Canelo. Okay, listen to what Mayweather said. He said them body shots wasn't nothing nice. This is what Mayweather said. And this is Canelo, a weight drain Canelo. Now this Canelo, big, strong, comfortable. Let me tell you, man, early and consistent investment in the body downstairs is going to slow Bud's legs down. It's going to diminish his ability to switch stances smoothly. He's going to be forcing things. And I think more importantly, he's going to create openings upstairs because Terence Crawford will drop his guard. And that's going to be all bad for Terence Crawford. So you watch Canelo just stay patient, man. He ain't going to fall for mind games. And Crawford, if you hurt Crawford, he's not really good at disguising when he's hurt. He shows the shit. And I just think Crawford may want Canelo to get emotional and get reckless so Crawford can, implement his strategy and try to counter him. But Canelo's got to stay calm, stay composed, and stay methodical. And if Canelo can do that, then I'm just telling you, man, it's going to force Crawford into exchanges on Canelo's terms, not on Bud's terms. If you watch Bud in his fights, he will eventually take control and force exchanges on his terms. Not every single exchange, but the majority. And as a result, that gives him an advantage. And Bud goes on to get the wins. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be paying attention just to see how this plays out. I want to see if the feints and the time counters from Canelo show up. Because Bud is so overconfident, I can see Bud lowering his hands. Not like baiting him in, but I can see him, especially if he's having some success, I can see him dropping them hands. I can see him doing that. And maybe him doing that would try to bait Canelo in, trying to taunt him. But I'm telling you what, Canelo has great feints. And when he feints, Canelo tends to draw out reactions. And why would Terence Crawford be any different? You know what I'm saying? For all y'all Crawford fans out there, why would it be any different for Crawford? Because once Canelo starts getting you to take the bait, you better look for them timed overhands and uppercuts because they're coming. And I'm telling you right now, man, Crawford could get caught when Canelo feints, when Crawford's in transition, or between stances, or Crawford's pulling back, and all of a sudden, kaboom! Crawford gets hit with the Guadalajara, Jalisco beans. Could be lights out. If it's not lights out, well, Canelo's going to do his damnedest to close the show when he gets Crawford hurt. And I'm just telling you, Crawford's shown toughness, but he's never shown it against somebody like Canelo. Never been hit by a 168-pounder in a professional fight. Crawford talks about the street fights, talks about the sparring. But a guy like Canelo, you just have to think, if he hits everybody else cleanly and hurts them, why wouldn't he hurt Terence Crawford? You know what I'm saying? Trust me, if Canelo sees Crawford staggered, he's going to stay behind his technique. He's not going to go wild like Deontay Wilder. But he sure as hell is going to use short, compact combinations to finish the job without gassing himself out. And that's just a fact, man. So the bottom line when it comes to Canelo, in my opinion, he just needs to stay cold, man. Stay ice cold. Not get too emotional, and don't get reckless. Go to the body, pressure intelligently, man, and capitalize the movement when Crawford, opens up a window. And that's it. And I just think if he does that, I think the KO is absolutely possible, especially late in the fight, man. So it is what it is, man. Drink some more coffee. What is it, 12 rounds? Just like I broke down Crawford over 12 rounds, I just think rounds 1 through 2 for Canelo are extremely critical. He's got to establish the pressure without overcommitting. Like, that's really important. If he's overcommitting, Crawford's gonna make him pay. Last thing Canelo wants for Crawford to hit him and hurt him. Even if Canelo goes on to win the fight, like, that's gonna be the highlight. That's the shit that's gonna go viral. So Canelo's focus in them first 2 rounds, cutting that ring off, feigning often, jabbing to the chest and testing the range to close the gap. Because see, Crawford wants to feel you out. Canelo can't let him do that. Because when Crawford's feeling you out and you feel like he's not doing nothing, his hands may not be moving. He may not be throwing punches. But that joker's mind is going. He's downloading data. That's why you see Crawford start off slow in fights and pick up the pace. Because he's downloading data. And Canelo can't give Crawford clean looks. And Crawford has to be careful with Canelo putting that pressure on him because it's coming. Stay behind that high guard. That's what Canelo's got to do. Stay behind that high guard because Crawford's looking to counter him. Go to that body, start investing early, man. And let's see if he can use his footwork to get Bud on the ropes. Canelo's really good with doing that. But if he can do that, I think Canelo will be good. But after round 2, I think Canelo just needs to open up. All gas, no brakes, going to the body. Start unloading those hard left hooks. Even if he catches him on the elbow or arms, just throw him. Because if he's hitting like that, Crawford's going to freeze up. I'm telling you he's going to freeze up. He's hitting like that, he's going to do that. Them uppercuts to the body, hooks to the body, Crawford's going to freeze up. And then you're going to see, man, down the stretch, Crawford's leg. Let me tell you something. Crawford's legs are the keys to his defense. But you're going to see them legs start to go. And we're going to be wondering what's happening, how's this happening? It's because Canelo has remained smart and intelligent and controlled aggression and focus. And the body, invested in the body. And you will see Canelo start to get to Crawford late in the fight. And the way Canelo will get to Crawford. But the way Canelo normally does this, you'll see if you watch him. One thing, Canelo may not throw 5, 6, 7 punches anymore, but he'll double jab, then step in and throw that left hook to the liver. He'll counter Bud's jab with the right uppercut inside. Canelo has great head movement, upper body movement. And then Canelo's good at keeping you guessing on whether he's going to the body or he's going to the head. So I think if Crawford starts circling wider and slowing slightly, then that means that the plan's working. If not, Reynoso and Canelo are going to have to make some more changes. But rounds 5 through 6 is just going to be, Canelo turning up the heat and tying up Crawford here and there and making it a bit physical. And again, man, around this time, Bud should be making mistakes. And Canelo's just got to look to make him pay. Fatigue's going to show up in somebody around rounds 5 through 6. And then 7, 8, man, is where I think if the fatigue is showing up in Crawford because of Canelo, the physicality that Crawford's dealing with, well, then Canelo just needs to hurt him. He's just got to catch him in transition between them stances. And when Crawford's taunting or Crawford's trying to move, or when he gets him on the ropes, Canelo's going to have to hurt him. He's going to have to hurt him, man. If for some reason Crawford is feeling like he's controlling the rhythm, Crawford's a disciplined professional fighter, but there'll be a little bit of cockiness there. You can see he's like, oh, I got you now. And that could come back to bite him. It could come back to bite him, man. So there's Lomachenko does good feints. Usyk does good feints. Fury does good feints. Haney does a lot of feinting, but Canelo and Crawford both do really good feints. But I think Canelo's really got to try to bait that reaction. He's got to bait that reaction, man, and then launch that right hand or that short left hook. But he's going to have to get Crawford to take the bait. And again, those ropes are Crawford's enemy and Canelo's friends. And if he starts doing that, I think Canelo could possibly hurt him or finish him. If not, rounds 9 through 10, he'll finish Crawford going for the KO. I don't think it'll go 12. Anyway, Crawford trying to switch to southpaw circling out would be horrible because Canelo would catch him. Bud bites, dropping his hands, trying to parry anything Canelo's throwing. That'd be bad for Crawford because Canelo's going to come right over that. Canelo cracking Crawford with short, looping overhand rights behind the ear. That shit right there could stagger Crawford and get Crawford throw his equilibrium off. Canelo throwing that looping overhand right, hitting Crawford right here on the forehead on top of the head, going to throw his equilibrium off. So Crawford just got to be careful just having the high guard here because Canelo will hit you on the top of the head, which is where he hit Jermell Charlo. And I just think if he hits him and he hurts him like that, watch Canelo immediately go to that body to hurt him more than come back to the head and try to tranquilize him. So anyway, we'll see how the fight goes. I just think Canelo has got to be a disciplined monster. And if he can do that, he'll stop Terence Crawford. And Crawford at the post-fight press conference will be saying, shit, man, I shouldn't have poked that bear. Y'all keep cool, I'm in the breeze.